Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about something we often ignore but cannot afford to overlook. Not everyone in your circle is in your corner. Sometimes the greatest opposition does not come from strangers, but from those who pretend to walk beside you. You must be discerning. There are people who smile in your face but resent your very existence. They eat with you, laugh with you, and even call you friend, yet in the secret places of their hearts they despise you. How do you recognize them? How do you guard your spirit against such hidden enemies? The first sign is they celebrate your failures. There is something deeply unsettling about realizing that someone close to you takes pleasure in your struggles. You may not notice it at first because they hide it well. They smile when you are around, offer words of comfort, and even act like they care. But if you pay close attention, their actions tell a different story. When you go through a setback, their concern seems rehearsed, their sympathy lacks depth, and their energy shifts in a way that is almost unnoticeable. You see, there are people in your life who do not want you to fail outright, but they do not want you to rise above them either. They tolerate you as long as you remain on their level or beneath them. The moment you start to rise, their true feelings begin to surface. And if life ever knocks you down, they see it as confirmation that you were never meant to succeed in the first place. You will notice that when you go through hardships, these individuals seem a little too comfortable discussing your downfall. They ask questions about your struggles, not out of genuine concern, but because they enjoy hearing about your difficulties. When you fail at something, they show up, but their presence is not to lift you up. It is to witness your pain firsthand. Some will even pretend to offer advice, but their words are laced with hidden satisfaction. They might say things like, "I knew that was going to be tough for you," or "I had a feeling it wouldn't work out." What makes this so dangerous is that these people disguise themselves as friends, family, or supporters. They will never openly admit that they enjoy your misfortunes, but their energy tells the truth. If you achieve something great, they are the ones who go silent. They delay congratulating you, or they do it in a way that feels forced. But when you experience loss, they are suddenly attentive, ready to listen, eager to offer their version of support. It is not because they care, but because your downfall makes them feel better about their own lives. You may find that when you struggle, they have more energy in their voice. Their responses are longer, they are fully engaged. But when you start doing well again, they pull away. If you have ever shared good news with someone and felt an immediate shift in their energy, you know what this looks like. They may say the right words, but something is missing. The enthusiasm is not there. The genuine joy is absent. That is because deep down, they were hoping you would not make it. The people who secretly hate you will never reveal it with their words. They will reveal it through their reactions. Watch how they respond to your lows, and you will see the truth. When someone loves and supports you, they may feel sorry for you when you go through difficulties, but they never take pleasure in them. They stand with you, they encourage you, and they remind you of your strength. But a person who secretly despises you will act like they care, all while relishing in your misfortunes. Their behavior becomes even clearer when you start rising again. Suddenly they distance themselves, they act uninterested, they change the topic when you talk about your progress. That is because your success disrupts the narrative they have built in their minds. Your failures comfort them, but your success convicts them. When you recognize these patterns, do not be deceived by their words. Pay attention to their actions, their body language, their energy. The truth is always there, hidden in plain sight. And once you see it, you can no longer ignore it. Second, they undermine your success. Success has a way of revealing the true hearts of those around you. When you accomplish something significant, the people who genuinely love and support you will celebrate with enthusiasm. They will cheer for you as if your victory were their own. But then, there are those who cannot bring themselves to acknowledge your success. They may not openly criticize you, but they will find subtle ways to undermine what you have achieved. No matter how hard you worked or how much you sacrificed, they will always have a reason to diminish your progress. These individuals are not strangers. They are often the ones closest to you, friends, family members, or colleagues. When you achieve something meaningful, instead of rejoicing, they offer backhanded compliments. That's great, but you were lucky. You must have had some help. I heard they're giving opportunities to just about anyone these days. Their words may seem harmless on the surface, but beneath them lies resentment. Your success unsettles them because it forces them to confront their own lack of progress. Watch how people react when you share good news. Some will immediately change the subject, pretending as if what you just said was insignificant. Others will find a way to make it about themselves. You tell them about your promotion and they respond, "Oh, well, I could have gotten that too, but I just didn't want it." You tell them you started a new business and they say, "Must be nice to have all those connections." Instead of acknowledging your hard work, they reduce your success to luck, favoritism, or external factors. This kind of behavior is rooted in deep insecurity. People who are comfortable with their own journey do not feel threatened by someone else's progress. They do not feel the need to downplay or discredit others because they are secure in their own lane. But those who feel stagnant in their own lives will always struggle to celebrate the wins of others. When they see you rising, they feel as if they are falling. And instead of using your success as motivation, they try to bring you down to their level. You may also notice that when you accomplish something, they highlight your past failures. They remind you of the times you struggled, as if to suggest that you do not deserve your current victory. I remember when you used to be broke. Look at you now, trying to act successful. They say it with a smile, but the message is clear. They do not respect your growth. The most deceptive ones will pretend to be supportive, but their energy tells another story. They will say things like, "I'm happy for you," but their tone is dry, their enthusiasm forced. They may even put on a fake smile, but their eyes lack warmth. And when you are not around, they find ways to downplay your achievements to others. "Yeah, they got a new job, but I don't think it will last. They started a business, but let's see if they can keep it up." These are the words of someone who secretly resents your progress. You must understand that not everyone will be happy for you, and that is okay. Your job is not to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Your purpose is not to dim your light so others won't feel overshadowed. Real success does not need validation from those who refuse to see your worth. Move forward, keep growing, and let the right people celebrate you. Those who cannot handle your success were never truly for you in the first place. There is a kind of betrayal that cuts deeper than any open attack, and that is the betrayal of hidden enemies. Those who pretend to be for you but secretly work against you. They smile in your face, but the moment you are not around, they let their true thoughts be known. They do not confront you directly, nor do they show their resentment openly. Instead, they spread whispers behind your back, planting seeds of doubt in the minds of others. These people disguise themselves as friends, supporters, and confidants. They listen to you, laugh with you, and even act as though they care. But when you leave the room, their tone changes. They take pieces of your story and twist them. They share personal details that you entrusted to them, not to help you, but to harm you. They say things like, "I love them, but," and then proceed to speak against you. The most dangerous part is that they never make it obvious. They do not openly slander you. They are more subtle than that. They frame their gossip as concern. "I just think they've changed. I'm worried about them. Something seems off." They use soft words, but their intentions are destructive. They plant doubt in the minds of those who once supported you. slowly shifting their perception of you. They know how to manipulate conversations so that others begin to question you without ever realizing where the doubt came from. And when you hear rumors that distort your character, you may wonder, who would say something like that? You may be tempted to ignore it, believing that it is just gossip with no real source. But pay attention, because more often than not, these whispers trace back to someone close to you, someone who knows you well, someone who has access to your life. These individuals thrive in secrecy. They are careful with their words when you are present, but the moment you turn your back, they reveal their true nature. And if you ever confront them, they will deny everything. They will act shocked, as though they have no idea where the rumors came from. I would never say that about you. You know I've always supported you. And for a moment you may doubt yourself, but deep down you already know the truth. One of the greatest signs of a hidden enemy is inconsistency. Their words do not match their actions. They act one way in front of you and another way behind closed doors. If you find that people treat you differently based on what they have heard, if you notice that certain individuals pull away from you for no apparent reason, it is often because someone has been speaking against you. You must learn to protect yourself. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Not everyone who claps for you wants you to win. Some are only in your life to monitor you, to collect information, and to use it against you when the time is right. Be mindful of those who always bring you gossip about others, because chances are they are carrying your name in the same way when you are not around. The truth is, when people cannot attack you directly, they will try to weaken your reputation. When they see you rising, they will attempt to cast shadows over your name. But you do not need to fight them. The best way to deal with those who gossip behind your back is to rise above it. Keep walking in purpose. Keep succeeding. Let your life be the proof of who you really are. The lies may spread for a moment, but the truth will always stand the test of time. One of the most deceptive forms of hidden hatred is fake support. This is when someone in your circle appears to stand by you, but in reality their support is hollow. They say the right things. They nod at the right moments. They even pretend to cheer you on. But when the time comes for them to actually show up for you, they are nowhere to be found. This kind of person operates with a carefully crafted disguise. When you share your dreams and ambitions, they will offer words of encouragement, but their words carry no real weight. "That's amazing, I'm so happy for you," they say, but there is no sincerity in their voice. Their smile is polite, but their spirit is indifferent. If you pay close attention, you will notice that their energy never matches their words. True support is not just about what people say, it is about what they do. A real supporter will not just congratulate you, they will stand with you. They will be present when it matters. They will defend you when others try to discredit you. They will celebrate your wins as if they were their own. But fake supporters, they disappear when you need them the most. If you have ever experienced a moment of struggle, a season of hardship, or a time when you truly needed someone to be there for you, then you know what this looks like. The ones who claimed to support you suddenly became distant. They were too busy. They had excuses. They vanished without explanation. They did not check on you. They did not offer help. And when you finally overcame the situation, they reappeared, acting as if they had been by your side all along. This is because fake supporters only want to be associated with your success, not your struggle. As long as you are winning, they will be nearby, hoping to benefit from your light. But the moment you go through difficulty, they step back. Why? Because they were never truly for you in the first place. Their presence in your life was conditional. It was based on what they could gain from being connected to you, not a genuine desire to see you succeed. And here is another thing you will notice about these individuals. They will never invest in you. They will applaud you from a distance, but they will not lift a finger to help. If you start a business, they will say, "I'm proud of you," but they will never support your work. If you have an event, they will tell you it sounds amazing, but they will never show up. If you are facing challenges, they will say, I'm praying for you, but they will never actually do anything to ease your burden. Their support is performative. It is an illusion. It exists only in words, not in action. And the danger of keeping these people close is that you may mistake them for allies when in reality they are indifferent to your success. So how do you handle them? You do not waste time trying to force people to be what they are not. Instead, you recognize them for who they are and adjust accordingly. Real supporters are rare, and when you find them, cherish them. But those who only pretend, let them go. Do not allow fake encouragement to deceive you. Surround yourself with those who truly believe in you, those who will stand with you through both victories and valleys. Because at the end of the day, it is not what people say that matters, it is what they do. There is a certain kind of person who cannot celebrate you. No matter how much you accomplish, no matter how hard you have worked, they are incapable of being genuinely happy for you. Instead of clapping when you succeed, they feel the need to compete. Instead of standing beside you, they try to stand above you. And what should be a friendship turns into an unspoken rivalry. This type of person cannot stand to see you shine. Your growth, your success, your achievements, they take them as a personal threat. When you get good news, they immediately shift the focus back to themselves. If you get a promotion, they suddenly start talking about how their job is so much more challenging. If you buy a house, they remind you that theirs is bigger. If you accomplish something meaningful, they find a way to downplay it. They are not happy unless they feel like they are ahead of you. And if they ever feel like they are falling behind, their energy shifts. They become distant. They act irritated. They may even start questioning or criticizing the very things they once praised about you. It is not because you have changed. It is because your success exposes their insecurities. You will notice that every conversation with them turns into a contest. If you share a testimony, they have a bigger one. If you talk about a struggle, they have struggled harder. They do not listen to understand. They listen to respond, to prove that they are still superior in some way. And the most dangerous part is that they do not see themselves as an enemy. They think they are just keeping up. But real friendship is not a competition. It is not a scoreboard where one person always has to win. True friends celebrate each other. When you win, they win. When you rise, they rise with you. There is no jealousy, no silent resentment, only joy in seeing each other grow. But when someone secretly hates you, they cannot celebrate you. Your blessings remind them of what they lack. Your progress highlights their stagnation. And instead of being inspired, they become envious. Instead of learning from you, they try to undermine you. And when they realize they cannot stop your success, they try to outshine it. These people may never say outright that they are competing with you, but their actions reveal it. Pay attention to how they react when something good happens in your life. Do they rejoice with you? Do they encourage you? Or do they quickly change the subject, downplay your achievement, or try to make it about themselves? Do they support you when you are winning, or do they pull away? Be mindful of those who see you as a competitor rather than a companion. Not everyone who claps for you wants to see you win. Some are only clapping because they do not yet know how to outdo you. But do not let their silent rivalry distract you. Keep your focus, keep growing, keep walking in your purpose, because the truth is, when you are secure in who you are, you do not need to compete. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. Your only competition is becoming the best version of yourself. And those who are truly for you will not try to outshine you, they will shine with you. One of the most dangerous forms of hidden hatred is passive aggression. This is when someone disguises their negativity in a way that seems harmless on the surface but carries a sharp edge underneath. Their words sound polite, but their tone feels off. Their compliments feel more like criticisms. Their humor has a sting to it. They do not openly attack you, but they wound you in small, subtle ways. Pay attention to the way they speak to you. When someone secretly dislikes you, they will rarely confront you directly. Instead, they will hide their resentment behind sarcasm, backhanded compliments, and subtle digs. They will smile in your face while throwing insults that are wrapped in humor. They will say something hurtful and then follow it with, "I'm just joking. Don't be so sensitive." But the truth is, their joke was meant to sting. It was meant to make you question yourself. It was meant to bring you down just a little. Passive-aggressive people do not celebrate you, they mock you. If you achieve something great, they will congratulate you, but their words will carry a hidden message. "Wow, you actually pulled that off? I'm shocked." It sounds like they are impressed, but what they are really saying is that they did not believe in you. It must be nice to have that kind of luck. Instead of acknowledging your hard work, they dismiss your success as chance. They also use subtle manipulation to make you doubt yourself. If you express excitement about a new opportunity, they will plant seeds of insecurity. I mean, are you sure you're ready for that? That sounds really difficult. They do not want to see you fail. They just do not want to see you get ahead of them. Their words are designed to make you second-guess yourself, to make you hesitate, to make you feel smaller than you are. And when it comes to your flaws, they do not offer constructive feedback. They highlight them in a way that embarrasses you. If you make a mistake, they will bring it up in front of others, laughing as if it is just a joke. If you are struggling, they will offer fake concern while subtly making you feel inadequate. You always have so much going on. Maybe you just aren't cut out for this. It sounds like advice, but it is really a statement of doubt. They pushed fear slightingly and doubt. They thrive on making you feel uncertain, insecure, less than you are. They enjoy the idea of keeping you off balance because as long as you are doubting yourself, you are not growing beyond them. This is not friendship. This is not love. This is hidden hostility. So how do you handle people like this? You stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. You stop excusing their behavior as just their personality. If someone's words consistently leave you feeling small, unheard, or undervalued, it is not an accident. It is intentional. And once you recognize that, you stop engaging, you stop explaining yourself, you stop reacting to their subtle attacks. Instead, you rise above, you set boundaries, you protect your peace. And most importantly, you surround yourself with people who do not need to insult you to feel powerful. People who uplift, encourage, and believe in you without hidden agendas. Because real support does not come with a sharp edge. It comes with genuine love. My friend, life is too short to entertain hidden enemies. You were not created to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were not called to dim your light so others will not feel insecure. You were designed to shine, to rise, to walk boldly in your God-given purpose. And anyone who cannot celebrate that, anyone who secretly resents the favor on your life, does not deserve a front row seat to your journey. Do not waste time trying to convince people to love you who have already decided to despise you. Do not exhaust your energy explaining yourself to those who have made it their mission to misunderstand you. The ones who are meant to walk with you will walk with you. The ones who are meant to celebrate you will celebrate you. And the ones who are meant to leave, let them go. Because hear me, when God is elevating you, He will also expose who is not for you. He will reveal the ones who secretly compete, who secretly resent, who secretly tear you down while pretending to lift you up. And when He does, do not beg, do not plead, do not hold on. Let them be removed so the right people can be positioned. Walk boldly in your calling. Speak life over yourself. Surround yourself with those who truly love you, and above all, stay focused on your purpose. Because the greatest revenge against secret hatred is undeniable success in the presence of your enemies. Keep rising. Keep growing. Keep becoming all that God has created you to be. And watch as He prepares a table before you in the presence of those who never wanted you to eat.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to discuss a journey that we all must undertake at some point in our lives, the journey to rebuild ourselves. It is a journey of transformation, renewal, and self-discovery. As we embark on this path, let us remember that rebuilding ourselves is not merely about change, it is about embracing our true potential and purpose. Embracing your purpose is fundamental to the journey of rebuilding yourself. Purpose is not merely a set of goals or aspirations, it is the deeper, intrinsic reason for your existence. It is the divine blueprint that guides you and gives meaning to your life. In the Bible, we are reminded of this truth in Jeremiah 29:11, where God declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse underscores that our lives are guided by a higher purpose, one that is intricately designed and filled with promise. When you embrace your purpose, you are aligning yourself with this divine plan. It involves a deep introspection to understand what you are truly passionate about and where your unique talents lie. Reflect on the gifts and abilities you have been blessed with and consider how they can be used to serve others and fulfill your destiny. Purpose gives you direction, much like a compass directs a traveler through uncharted territory. Without a clear sense of purpose, you may find yourself wandering, uncertain of your path, and lacking motivation. To embrace your purpose, you must first recognize that it is not just about personal success or achievement, but about contributing to something greater than yourself. In Philippians 2:13, it is written, "For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill His good purpose." This verse highlights that our purpose is intertwined with the divine plan, and our efforts are part of a larger mission. By embracing this perspective, you can approach challenges with a sense of meaning and conviction, knowing that your struggles and triumphs are part of a greater narrative. Understanding and embracing your purpose also involves a commitment to personal growth and development. As you strive to align your actions with your purpose, you will encounter opportunities for learning and improvement. The journey of embracing your purpose is not always straightforward. It requires dedication, self-discipline, and a willingness to adapt. In Ephesians 2:10 it says, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." This passage affirms that you are uniquely crafted for a specific purpose, and as you grow and evolve, you fulfill the good works that have been prepared for you. Embracing your purpose also means persevering through difficulties with the confidence that you are on the right path. There will be moments of doubt and struggle, but knowing that you are working towards something meaningful provides strength and resilience. Romans 8:28 reassures us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This promise reminds us that every challenge is an opportunity to grow and that our purpose remains intact regardless of the obstacles we face. Embracing your purpose is about living a life that is both authentic and fulfilling. It means staying true to yourself, following your passions, and contributing to the well-being of others. It is a journey of aligning your actions with your values and making a positive impact in the world. As you embrace your purpose, you are not only rebuilding yourself, but also fulfilling the greater plan that has been set before you. Assessing and reflecting on your current situation is a crucial step in the journey of rebuilding yourself. This process begins with an honest evaluation of where you stand in your life, including your strengths, weaknesses, successes, and failures. It requires a deep and often uncomfortable look at your circumstances and behaviors, acknowledging both what you have achieved and where you have fallen short. In the Bible, Psalm 139, 23, 24 provides a poignant reminder of the importance of self-examination. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me, and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. This scripture highlights the need for introspection and divine guidance in understanding ourselves fully. It is a call to scrutinize our own hearts and minds, seeking both truth and clarity. To truly assess yourself, consider reflecting on your past experiences. These experiences, whether positive or negative, have shaped who you are today. Think about the decisions that have brought you to your current point and the lessons you have learned along the way. This reflection is not just about identifying mistakes, but understanding the underlying causes and patterns that have influenced your past. It involves examining your achievements and recognizing what strengths and talents contributed to your success. Self-assessment also involves a candid review of your weaknesses and areas where you need growth. This can be challenging as it requires confronting aspects of yourself that may be uncomfortable to acknowledge. However, recognizing these areas is essential for personal development. The Bible offers wisdom in Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. This verse suggests that through honest and constructive feedback from others, we can gain insights into our own areas of improvement. As you reflect, it's important to understand how your current situation aligns with your values and goals. Are there discrepancies between your daily actions and your long-term aspirations? Reflecting on this alignment can help you determine whether you are living authentically or if adjustments are needed. The process involves being honest with yourself about any misalignments and being willing to make changes to better align your life with your core values. The act of assessing and reflecting also includes setting aside time for contemplation and prayer. By doing so, you invite a deeper understanding and divine insight into your life's direction. In Lamentations 3:40, it is written, "Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord." This call for examination and return underscores the importance of seeking divine wisdom and guidance as you reflect on your journey. Incorporating these reflections into your daily life means making intentional efforts to understand your own motives, desires, and fears. It's about being proactive in addressing any negative patterns and making conscious decisions to steer your life in a more positive direction. Self-assessment is a continual process, one that evolves as you grow and change. It's a journey of discovering not only who you are, but who you are becoming, enabling you to rebuild yourself in a way that is aligned with your true purpose and potential. Developing a vision is a transformative step in the process of rebuilding yourself. A vision is more than just a vague aspiration. It is a clear, compelling picture of what you aim to achieve and who you want to become. It provides a sense of direction and purpose, serving as a roadmap that guides your actions and decisions. Creating a vision begins with imagination and introspection. It requires you to envision the life you desire, taking into account your values, passions, and long-term goals. Imagine your ideal future in detail. What does it look like, feel like, and involve? This vision should be vivid and specific, capturing not just the end goals, but also the journey and experiences that come with achieving them. By vividly picturing this future, you create a motivating force that can drive you forward, even in times of difficulty. In the Bible, Proverbs 29:18 provides insight into the importance of vision. Where there is no vision, the people perish. This verse underscores that having a clear vision is essential for guiding and sustaining progress. Without a vision, it is easy to lose focus and direction, leading to stagnation or aimlessness. A well-defined vision helps you maintain a sense of purpose and motivation, steering you toward your goals with clarity and determination. To develop a meaningful vision, reflect on what truly inspires and fulfills you. Consider your deepest passions and how they align with your values and strengths. Your vision should resonate with your core beliefs and aspirations, reflecting what you genuinely want to achieve rather than what others expect of you. It should be a vision that excites and energizes you, one that reflects your authentic self and motivates you to take action. Setting a vision also involves considering the impact you wish to have on others and the world. Think about how your goals and aspirations can contribute to the greater good. How can your vision improve the lives of those around you or address important issues in your community? This broader perspective adds depth and significance to your vision, making it not only a personal goal, but also a contribution to something larger than yourself. Once you have a clear vision, it's important to articulate it in a way that is both inspiring and actionable. Write it down, visualize it regularly, and integrate it into your daily life. This articulation helps solidify your commitment and keeps your vision at the forefront of your mind. It also makes it easier to break down your vision into smaller, manageable goals and steps, creating a practical plan for achieving your desired future. Developing a vision is not a one-time exercise, but an ongoing process. As you grow and evolve, your vision may also change. Regularly revisit and refine your vision to ensure it remains aligned with your evolving goals and aspirations. This adaptability allows you to stay relevant and motivated, continually progressing toward a future that reflects your true potential and purpose. Setting clear goals is a critical component of turning your vision into reality. Goals provide the concrete steps needed to make your vision actionable and achievable. They transform an abstract vision into specific, manageable tasks, offering a structured approach to realizing your aspirations. To set clear goals, begin by breaking down your vision into specific objectives. Start with broad, long-term goals that align with your overall vision, and then decompose these into smaller, short-term goals. Each goal should be well-defined and detailed, outlining exactly what you want to achieve and by when. This clarity helps to focus your efforts and provides a benchmark for measuring progress. For instance, if your vision is to advance in your career, a clear goal might be to attain a specific position or skill within a defined time frame, instead of a vague aim like get promoted. A clear goal would be earn a promotion to a managerial position within the next 18 months by completing a leadership training program and taking on additional project responsibilities. In the Bible, Habakkuk 2:2 provides wisdom on the importance of clear goal setting. Write down the revelation and make it plain on tablets so that a herald may run with it. This verse emphasizes the necessity of clarity and simplicity in conveying your objectives. By writing down your goals and making them explicit, you ensure that they are clear, actionable, and easily understood. This practice helps to solidify your commitment and provides a reference point for staying on track. Each goal should also be measurable, meaning you should be able to track your progress and know when you have achieved it. Incorporate specific criteria that define success for each goal, such as deadlines, milestones, or quantifiable outcomes. For example, if your goal is to increase your physical fitness, a measurable goal might be to run a 5K race within 6 months, with specific training schedules and benchmarks along the way. Moreover, goals should be realistic and attainable. It's important to set goals that challenge you but are also achievable given your current resources and constraints. Setting overly ambitious goals can lead to frustration and discouragement, while goals that are too easy may not push you to grow. Balance is key. Set goals that stretch your abilities without being out of reach. Each goal should also be aligned with your values and long-term vision. Ensure that the goals you set contribute meaningfully to your broader aspirations and are not just short-term fixes. This alignment ensures that your efforts are consistent with your overall purpose and direction. Setting goals requires an action plan. Identify the specific steps you need to take to achieve each goal and establish a timeline for completing these steps. This action plan serves as a roadmap, guiding you through the process and helping you stay organized and focused. Regularly review and adjust your plan as needed to accommodate any changes or challenges that arise. Incorporating these elements into your goal-setting process ensures that your objectives are clear, actionable, and aligned with your vision, providing a structured path to achieving your dreams and aspirations. Cultivating resilience is essential for navigating the journey of rebuilding yourself. Resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks, adapt to change, and keep going in the face of adversity. It's about maintaining a positive outlook and a sense of purpose, even when confronted with challenges and obstacles. To cultivate resilience, you must first develop a mindset that views challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than insurmountable barriers. Embrace the belief that difficulties are a natural part of the journey, and that each obstacle provides a chance to learn and improve. This mindset allows you to face problems head-on, seeing them as chances to build strength and character rather than sources of defeat. Resilience also involves emotional regulation. Learning to manage your emotions effectively is crucial for maintaining focus and composure during tough times. This means acknowledging your feelings, whether they are frustration, fear, or sadness, without allowing them to overwhelm you. Developing emotional resilience includes practices such as mindfulness and stress management techniques, which help you remain grounded and maintain clarity even when emotions run high. The Bible offers insight into resilience through various passages. For instance, James 1:2-4 encourages us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." This verse highlights the value of trials in strengthening our resolve and character. By viewing challenges through this lens, you can develop a resilient attitude that embraces difficulties as integral to your growth. Building resilience also involves developing problem-solving skills and adaptability. Being able to approach problems with creativity and flexibility allows you to find solutions and adjust your strategies as needed. This adaptability is crucial for navigating changes and uncertainties in your journey. When faced with obstacles, analyze the situation, identify potential solutions, and be willing to adjust your approach if necessary. Resilience is about remaining proactive and resourceful, even when the path forward is not clear. Another key aspect of resilience is seeking support and maintaining strong relationships. Surround yourself with people who provide encouragement, understanding, and practical help. These supportive relationships offer a buffer against stress and provide perspectives and advice that can help you navigate challenges. The Bible underscores the importance of support in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, which says, "Two are better than one. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." Having a network of supportive individuals can make a significant difference in your ability to persevere. Self-care is also a vital component of resilience. Taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional well-being strengthens your ability to cope with stress and recover from difficulties. This includes maintaining a healthy lifestyle, engaging in activities that bring you joy, and taking time for rest and relaxation. By prioritizing self-care, you build a solid foundation that supports your resilience and helps you handle adversity more effectively. Resilience requires a commitment to personal growth and a willingness to learn from experiences. Embrace a mindset of continuous improvement, where setbacks are seen as opportunities for learning and development. By integrating these practices into your life, you can cultivate resilience, equipping yourself to face challenges with confidence and perseverance. Building supportive relationships is a crucial element in the process of rebuilding yourself. These relationships provide the encouragement, guidance, and emotional support necessary to navigate the complexities of personal growth and transformation. They offer a network of people who uplift you, hold you accountable, and share in your journey, making the path to your goals less solitary and more manageable. To build supportive relationships, start by surrounding yourself with individuals who genuinely care about your well-being and success. These people can be friends, family members, mentors, or colleagues, anyone who offers a positive influence and aligns with your values and goals. Choose relationships that are based on mutual respect, trust, and understanding, where both parties contribute to and benefit from the connection. Effective communication is fundamental to developing and maintaining supportive relationships. Be open and honest in your interactions, sharing your thoughts, feelings, and aspirations with those you trust. This openness fosters a deeper connection and allows others to understand your needs and provide appropriate support. Additionally, active listening is crucial. Pay attention to the perspectives and advice of others and show empathy and consideration for their experiences and concerns. The Bible emphasizes the importance of supportive relationships in Proverbs 27:17, which states, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." This verse highlights how mutual support and constructive interactions strengthen and improve individuals. Engaging with people who challenge you and offer valuable feedback helps you grow and refine your abilities. These relationships act as a catalyst for personal development, encouraging you to strive for your best. It's also important to seek out mentors or role models who can provide guidance and share their experiences. Mentors offer valuable insights and advice based on their own journeys, helping you navigate challenges and make informed decisions. Their experience and wisdom can provide a roadmap for your own path, offering support and direction when needed. Establishing a mentor-mentee relationship involves finding someone whose values and experiences align with your goals and who is willing to invest time and effort into guiding you. Equally important is the ability to offer support to others. Building a network of supportive relationships is a two-way process. By providing encouragement, assistance, and empathy to those around you, you create a reciprocal environment of mutual support. This generosity strengthens your own relationships and fosters a sense of community and belonging. Acts of kindness and support not only benefit others, but also reinforce your own resilience and well-being. In times of challenge, lean on your support network for advice and encouragement. Having people to turn to can make a significant difference in your ability to cope with stress and setbacks. These relationships provide a sense of security and reassurance, reminding you that you are not alone in your journey. The strength and stability of these connections can be a source of motivation and comfort, helping you stay focused and persistent in pursuing your goals. Building supportive relationships also involves setting healthy boundaries and managing conflicts constructively. While it is important to seek support, it is equally crucial to ensure that your relationships are respectful and balanced. Establishing boundaries helps maintain a healthy dynamic, ensuring that interactions are mutually beneficial and that your needs are respected. When conflicts arise, address them openly and respectfully, working towards resolution in a way that strengthens rather than undermines the relationship. Overall, supportive relationships play a vital role in the process of rebuilding yourself. They provide the encouragement, guidance, and emotional support needed to overcome challenges and achieve your goals. By nurturing these connections, you create a network of support that enhances your resilience, growth, and overall well-being.
Let me ask you something right now. Have you ever felt like heaven went silent on you? You prayed, but there was no answer. You fasted, but things got worse. You gave, but your situation remained the same. You served, but your life seemed stuck. Could it be that God is not punishing you, but testing you? You see, silence is not the absence of God. It is often the presence of examination. A test doesn't come when you're unprepared. It comes when you're ready to move to the next level. Today, I want to reveal to you the divine signs that God is testing your faith, because if you can recognize the test, you can pass it. And if you pass it, you qualify for promotion in the kingdom. Sign 1, divine silence. Have you ever found yourself praying and getting no response? You kneel in faith, raise your hands and cry out to heaven, but all you hear is silence. You fast, believing for a breakthrough, but instead of deliverance, you get delay. You worship with a broken heart, thinking maybe God will show up in the atmosphere, but the heavens feel shut. It's like God put you on do not disturb. You begin to wonder if maybe you did something wrong, or maybe He's not listening. But I want to tell you something today that will shift your understanding. Divine silence is not divine absence. When God goes silent, He is not gone. When He withdraws His voice, He is not withdrawing His presence. Silence is not proof that God has abandoned you. It is proof that something deeper is happening. In fact, silence is often a sign that God is testing your faith. We misunderstand silence because we equate God's voice with His validation. We think if God is with me, He will speak to me constantly. But let me remind you, the greatest tests in life are given in silence. A teacher is most quiet during the test, not because they are uninterested, but because they are watching. They are observing what you've learned. They are measuring your ability to apply what you were taught in the last season. And so it is with God. When the test of faith begins, the voice of instruction often pauses. The test is not about new revelation. It's about obedience to the revelation you already received. The silence of God is sacred. It separates the emotional Christian from the committed believer. Anybody can shout when the music is loud, when the prophecies are flowing, and when signs and wonders are visible. But what do you do when heaven goes silent? Do you still believe when the goosebumps are gone? Can you still lift your hands when the atmosphere feels dry? Can you still serve when there's no applause? Can you still pray when the heavens feel like brass? God uses silence to see what you believe when there's nothing to feel. Faith is not a feeling, it is a decision. When God goes quiet, He is revealing what's really inside of you. Are you seeking His face or just His voice? Are you following Him because of who He is or because of what He does? Abraham heard God speak to him, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you." That was a word of direction. But after that word, God went silent for years. Abraham had to walk in faith without repeated instructions. He had to trust the last word, even when he didn't get a new one. The maturity of faith is seen when you can keep walking, even when God hasn't spoken again. Some people only move when they hear a fresh word, but those who truly know God can hold onto an old word with fresh obedience. You see, silence is where dependency is tested. It's easy to say, "I trust God," when the word is flowing like a river. But in the silence, trust becomes real. Silence asks you, do you depend on the word or on the one who gave it? When Jesus was in the wilderness, the Bible says He was led there by the Spirit. But after He got there, there was no voice, no angels ministering, no heavenly affirmation. Just temptation, heat and hunger, 40 days of silence. The same Jesus who heard, "This is my beloved Son," at the Jordan, heard nothing in the desert. Why? Because that was the test. He had to stand on the voice He heard before the silence came. And I came to tell somebody, if God was speaking to you in the last season and now you're in silence, hold on to what He said. His silence is not Him changing His mind. His silence is a question. Do you still believe me when I'm not speaking? Some of the most powerful moments in Scripture were preceded by silence. Before God delivered the Israelites from Egypt, they went through 400 years of silence. No prophet, no sign, no wonder. But out of that silence, a deliverer was born. Before Jesus stepped into His ministry, there were 30 years of silence. And then suddenly, "This is my beloved Son." Power came after silence. Why? Because silence always comes before a shift. If you're in a silent season, don't be discouraged. God is preparing a transition. Silence is where foundations are formed. Silence is where motives are purified. Silence is where your identity is tested. When you can't hear the voice of God, it forces you to remember what He already said. And that memory builds your spiritual backbone. When God is silent, the enemy gets loud. He wants you to think God is gone. He wants you to believe that the silence means abandonment, but that's a lie. The enemy speaks in volume. God speaks in truth. And sometimes the truth comes in the form of a still small voice that waits for you to be still first. You'll never hear the whisper if you're chasing the noise. You must learn to trust God's silence as much as His speech. He's still moving in the quiet. He's still watching your response. Will you remain faithful when no one is watching? Will you hold your integrity when no one is applauding? Will you maintain your prayer life when it feels like you're praying into an empty room? Silence exposes whether your relationship with God is built on intimacy or on inspiration. If you need constant inspiration to keep going, you're still immature. But when you're intimate with God, you know that silence doesn't break the relationship, it deepens it. Married people understand this. A husband and wife don't have to speak 24/7 to remain connected. There's a silence that speaks of trust, of familiarity, of understanding. And the same is true in your walk with God. Silence is not separation. It's sanctification. Some of you are in a silent season because God is stretching your hearing. He wants you to develop the ability to sense Him without the crowd, without the music, without the noise. He wants you to become spiritually sensitive, to discern His movement, even when His voice isn't loud. The most anointed people are not those who always hear God, but those who trust Him in the dark. So the next time you experience divine silence, don't panic. Don't rush out of it. Don't assume you've done something wrong. Sometimes God goes silent because you're doing something right. You're ready for the next level. And silence is the final test before graduation. Your faith doesn't grow when God speaks. It grows when you trust in what He already said. Divine silence is not a punishment. It is a portal into maturity, depth, and divine elevation. You're not being ignored. You're being inspected. And if you pass the test of silence, God will speak again with power, clarity, and new authority. Sign 2, delay without explanation. One of the most difficult seasons to walk through as a believer is the season of delay, especially when the delay comes with no explanation. You prayed, you believed, you stood in faith. You even heard a promise from God. He showed you something in a vision, spoke it through a prophet, confirmed it in Scripture, and sealed it with peace in your heart. You knew it was Him. There was no confusion about what He said. But now, months or even years have gone by, and still nothing has happened. No open door, no sign, no shift. Just silence and time. Delay, when unexplained, can feel like betrayal. You start to wonder, did I hear Him wrong? Did I make it up in my mind? Is He waiting for me to do something I'm missing? But what if the delay isn't punishment or failure? What if the delay is part of the process? God often allows delay not to discourage you, but to develop you. The absence of movement is not the absence of meaning. Heaven doesn't operate on earth's timetable. God is eternal, and eternity sees no rush. Where we cry, God, why is it taking so long? Heaven is calmly saying, it's right on schedule. You see, in the kingdom of God, timing is just as important as the promise. A blessing released too soon becomes a burden. An assignment embraced too early becomes a disaster. God will never release what you are not ready to carry. Delay is not God withholding something from you. It is Him protecting you from what you cannot yet handle. Look at Abraham. God gave him a promise, I will make you the father of many nations. But that word took 25 years to come to pass. Imagine the emotional journey, year after year, waiting for a child while his body aged and Sarah's womb remained barren. Every year the delay grew more illogical. But Romans 4 says, Abraham did not waver through unbelief, being fully persuaded that God had power to do what He had promised. Why did God wait so long to give Isaac? Because the promise wasn't just about a baby. It was about building a man who could carry a covenant. If God had given Abraham a son immediately, Abraham might have assumed the promise was the child. But no. The real promise was faithfulness, legacy, a nation, and through that nation the Messiah. The wait wasn't to frustrate Abraham. It was to align him with the greater purpose. When God delays, He is not just preparing the blessing for you, He's preparing you for the blessing. You may be ready to receive the thing, but are you ready to steward it? Can you carry it without being crushed by it? Can you hold the platform and keep your integrity? Can you manage the abundance and still remain humble? Can you be elevated and still remain hidden in His presence? God is more interested in your character than your calendar. While we cry out for quick results, He's working on deep roots. The oak tree takes decades to form, but it lasts through storms. A mushroom pops up overnight, but it withers just as fast. Do you want a mushroom blessing or an oak tree legacy? There are times when God delays because He wants to see what's in your heart during the wait. Delay exposes your motives. It reveals if you love the promise or if you love the promiser. Many can follow God when everything is happening on schedule. But what about when the schedule changes and no one tells you why? When you don't understand the why, will you still trust the who? Joseph had a dream from God at 17.A. A dream of greatness, leadership, favor, and influence. But immediately after the dream, his life went in the opposite direction. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. 13 years passed from the dream to its fulfillment. 13 years of being faithful without reward. 13 years of silence without explanation. But in that delay, God was not punishing Joseph. He was preparing him to sit next to Pharaoh and manage a famine that would affect nations. Delay was the training ground for Joseph's destiny. Had he reached the palace sooner, he would have arrived immature, untested, and unprepared. Delay taught him wisdom. Delay taught him humility. Delay taught him how to serve in a pit and still trust the God of the palace. The delay you're experiencing is not in vain. God is weaving together people, timing, circumstances, and even your enemies for a moment of divine manifestation. Sometimes the reason for the delay has nothing to do with you. It has to do with what God is doing around you. You might be ready, but the place you're going to isn't. You might be prepared, but the person who needs to open the door hasn't even stepped into their assignment yet. God works in the symphony of time. What feels like chaos to you is actually orchestration to Him. Think about David, anointed by Samuel as king while still a teenager, But it took years, years of running from Saul, years of living in caves, years of fighting battles in the wilderness before he ever sat on the throne. The delay was not random. It was the proving ground. If David couldn't rule over 400 men in a cave, how would he rule over a nation? God tested his leadership in obscurity before releasing him into visibility. There are things you only learn in delay. You learn how to hear God in the quiet. You learn to fight discouragement with worship. You learn to kill pride before success arrives. You learn to live with your face to the ground before God places you in the spotlight. Delay builds depth. Delay forces dependency. It's easy to feel forgotten in the delay, but listen to me. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. God is not late. He is precise. He is never early, because premature blessings create pride. He is never too late because he redeems time. But he is always on time. His time. The hardest part is when you've done everything right and there's still no movement. You obeyed, you sowed, you sacrificed, and still the door hasn't opened. That's where the test intensifies. That's where trust is stretched. Will you still declare his goodness when nothing is good around you? Will you still worship when there's no breakthrough? Will you still believe when there's no visible progress? It's in these moments that delay becomes divine. It breaks your reliance on outcomes and deepens your reliance on intimacy. You stop worshiping God for what he does and start loving him for who he is. That's where real maturity is born. That's when delay is no longer a burden, but a blessing in disguise. Delay is not the enemy of destiny, it's the evidence of it. Because God only delays what he plans to finish. He doesn't invest time in people he's not going to use. The very fact that you're in a waiting season means something is coming. He's building something in you that will outlast the moment. You're not buried, you're planted. And when the time is right, the thing God promised you will come to pass. Not a minute too soon, not a second too late. The delay will end. But what God builds in you during that delay, that will remain forever. Sign 3, a command that doesn't make sense. One of the clearest signs that God is testing your faith is when he gives you a command that doesn't make any sense. Not to your mind, not to your logic, not to your feelings, and certainly not to your surroundings. It goes against reason. It defies strategy. It ignores what's visible and demands that you obey the invisible. When God gives you a word that challenges your intellect, your resources, your timing, or your comfort, you are no longer dealing with a suggestion. You're facing a divine test. Throughout the Bible, God's greatest instructions never aligned with human logic. God doesn't always explain, but he always commands. And often his commands come wrapped in contradiction. He will tell you to give when you need to receive. He will ask you to move forward when there's no path. He will ask you to forgive when it still hurts. He will call you to build when the materials are missing. Why? Because obedience to a command that doesn't make sense is the highest form of trust. God tests obedience not with comfort but with contradiction. When God told Noah to build an ark, it had never rained before. There was no record of floods. There was no evidence in the sky. It wasn't logical, it wasn't scientific, and it wasn't socially acceptable. Noah looked foolish. His neighbors mocked him. But Noah obeyed. He didn't understand the rain, but he trusted the one who created the clouds. Faith is not just believing God exists. It's trusting him enough to do what he says, even when it seems irrational. Faith is not proven by what you agree with. It's proven by what you obey without understanding. Look at Abraham. God told him, "Take your son, your only son, the one you love, and sacrifice him on a mountain I will show you." How do you process that? How do you mentally justify sacrificing the very thing God promised you? It was Isaac that God gave him after 25 years of waiting. Isaac was not just a son, he was a prophecy in human form. To kill Isaac was to kill the promise. And yet Abraham rose early, took the boy, and walked toward obedience. The command didn't make sense, but Abraham moved anyway. What Abraham didn't know was that God never intended for Isaac to die. He intended for Abraham's faith to live. The test was not about Isaac, it was about Abraham's heart. Would he obey a command that made no emotional or logical sense? Could he trust a voice that gave him no full explanation? Could he obey immediately, without hesitation, when everything inside him cried out for clarity? You see, God will test you in the area you love most. He doesn't do this to hurt you. He does it to purify your heart from idols. He gives a command that doesn't make sense because it separates faith from feelings. It draws a line between relationship and religion. Religion obeys what it understands. Religionship obeys because of who gave the instruction. The nature of kingdom obedience is that it is not always revealed in full detail. God doesn't owe you a roadmap. He gives you a step. He doesn't always give you the outcome. He gives you an instruction. And in that moment, what matters most is your willingness to move without knowing where the road leads. Look at Joshua. He's a military leader. He understands warfare, weapons, and strategy. But God says this time, you won't fight the walls of Jericho with swords. You'll walk around them in silence. That doesn't make sense. No warrior wins battles with walking. No commander leads an army in circles and expects victory. And yet Joshua obeyed. Every day for 6 days they marched. On the 7th day they marched 7 times. Still no cracks in the wall. Still no evidence of progress. But on the final lap, when they shouted, the walls fell. Not because of volume, but because of obedience. Sometimes God gives you a ridiculous command to reveal a ridiculous blessing. He'll say, walk when you want to run. Wait when you want to move. Give when you want to keep. Speak when you want to stay silent. Move when you want to settle. And in every one of those moments, what you do determines what you step into next. One of the greatest misunderstandings among believers is that obedience must be comfortable. But there is no such thing as convenient obedience in the kingdom. True obedience will cost you something. It may cost your pride, your logic, your comfort, your reputation, but whatever it costs, the reward is always greater. Peter experienced this firsthand. After fishing all night and catching nothing, Jesus comes and says, launch out into the deep and let down your nets for a catch. Now, Peter is a fisherman. He knows the waters. He knows when fish are biting and when they're not. Logically, it made no sense. They had already washed their nets. They were tired. It was the wrong time of day. But Peter said, nevertheless, at your word, I will let down the net. And that moment of obedience produced a net-breaking, boat-sinking miracle. Notice this, Peter didn't obey because it made sense. He obeyed because of who said it. At your word. That's the key. When you trust the voice over the logic, you unlock the supernatural. Logic will tell you when to stop. Obedience will show you when to start again. Miracles are often on the other side of the instruction that doesn't make sense. Jesus healed a blind man by spitting on mud and rubbing it on his eyes. Then he told him to go wash in a pool across town. That doesn't make sense. If you're blind, why make the journey harder? But the man obeyed. And when he washed, he saw. Sometimes your sight is released not when God speaks, but when you act. God will test your faith by asking you to do something that looks foolish to others, but what looks foolish to men often reveals favor with God. The widow of Zarephath was told by Elijah, make me a cake first. She only had a handful of flour and a little oil. It didn't make sense to give her last meal to a prophet, but that act of obedience unlocked supernatural provision for her and her household. The flour never ran out. The oil never dried up. Sometimes the logical instruction is a door to a never-ending resource. God doesn't ask you to understand His ways. He asks you to trust His heart. You won't always see how it will work. You won't always feel peace before you move. You won't always have the full picture. But obedience doesn't wait for understanding. It moves because of faith. And let me say this clearly. Delayed obedience is disobedience. The longer you take to move, the longer you delay the miracle on the other side. God's commands are often time sensitive. That window of obedience isn't always open forever. When He says move, move. When He says give, give. When He says go, go. Faith acts quickly, even when the mind is confused. If you're in a season where God is asking you to do something that doesn't make sense, don't resist it. Don't overanalyze it. Don't negotiate with it. Just say, Lord, if you said it, I trust you. The power isn't in the instruction. It's in the obedience. He is stretching your faith, testing your trust. And if you pass this test, what He has prepared for you on the other side will be beyond what you could ask or imagine. Sign 4, you're surrounded by contradiction. There is a place in your walk with God where everything around you looks the exact opposite of what He promised. You receive a word, a vision, a glimpse of destiny, but then life starts unfolding in a way that seems completely contradictory. God tells you that you are blessed, but you feel broke. He tells you that you are healed, but your body is in pain. He tells you that you are chosen, but you feel overlooked. He tells you that you are rising, but all you can see are doors closing. This is not a sign that God has forgotten you. It is often the clearest sign that He is testing your faith. Contradiction is a divine classroom. It is where God trains warriors, shapes leaders, molds vessels, and prepares kings. You cannot carry kingdom purpose without first surviving contradiction. God will speak one thing and then allow you to walk through the complete opposite, not to confuse you, but to cultivate in you the kind of faith that can stand in the fire and still declare, I believe. This is where many believers stumble, not because the promise wasn't real, but because the process looked wrong. We assume that if God said it, then everything should align quickly and smoothly. But in the kingdom, contradiction is not a curse, it's a setup. God intentionally allows your environment to challenge your expectation so that your faith is not built on what you see, but on who He is. When God told Joseph in a dream that he would rise to leadership and that even his brothers would bow to him, he was only 17. He didn't ask for the dream, God gave it. And yet, immediately after the dream, life began to fall apart. His brothers betrayed him. He was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, and locked away in prison. Everything he walked through contradicted the dream. There was no crown, only chains. No honor, only humiliation. But the contradiction wasn't a mistake. It was training. God will allow you to sit in situations that look nothing like your destiny to see if your faith can survive the gap. The gap between what He said and what you see. Because the real test of faith is not just believing in the promise, it's believing in the process. Can you walk through years of contradiction and still believe the vision wasn't a lie? Joseph never cursed the process. He served in the prison like it was the palace. He kept his integrity when no one was watching. He interpreted dreams for others when his own dream looked dead. That's faith. That's maturity. That's the kind of man God could trust with power. You see, contradiction doesn't cancel your calling, it confirms it. The enemy only attacks what is real. Hell does not fight fantasies. If you are surrounded by contradiction, it means there's something on your life that threatens darkness. The warfare surrounding your promise is the receipt that you are carrying something heavy. Don't let the contradiction discourage you, let it reveal to you how much is at stake. David was anointed king in front of his family by the prophet Samuel, but instead of a throne, he found himself running from Saul, living in caves, leading misfits, eating in wildernesses, hiding in shadows. Nothing about his situation looked royal. He was anointed for greatness, but surrounded by struggle. It didn't make sense, but God was using contradiction to crush entitlement and grow endurance. He was teaching David how to lead from humility, how to serve before ruling, how to survive without applause. Your surroundings may look like failure, but if you stay faithful, they are actually preparation. You might be surrounded by lack, but you're learning to depend on heaven. You might be surrounded by rejection, but you're being taught that your identity is not in man's opinion. You might be surrounded by opposition, but your spiritual muscles are growing. God never wastes contradiction. He uses it to strip, shape, and strengthen. And let's not forget Moses. He was called to be a deliverer, but spent 40 years in the wilderness tending sheep. The call of God was on his life, but his surroundings looked mundane and forgotten. He wasn't preaching to nations, he was talking to animals. He wasn't splitting seas, he was walking on dry, dusty land. Yet it was there in the contradiction that God spoke through a burning bush, in a dry place. In the middle of nothing, God declared purpose. This is why you must never despise the contradiction. The place where you feel stuck, delayed, overlooked, that might be the very soil where God is setting the stage for your next encounter. The contradiction is not proof of your disqualification. It is proof of your divine appointment. You are not off track. You are in training. Contradiction will also test your confession. What are you saying in the midst of what doesn't make sense? Are you aligning your mouth with your surroundings or with your assignment? Because you cannot speak defeat and walk in destiny. You cannot call yourself forgotten and still expect favor. You must declare truth even when the facts disagree. When you are surrounded by contradiction, your words become weapons. They either pull you into agreement with God or agreement with the enemy. The children of Israel were promised a land flowing with milk and honey, but when they got to the border, all they could see were giants. The contradiction overwhelmed their faith. 10 spies said, "We are grasshoppers," in their eyes. Only 2, Joshua and Caleb, spoke in alignment with the promise, and those were the 2 who entered in. Why? Because faith is not just about what you believe, it's about what you speak in the middle of the storm. So when you're surrounded by contradiction, your faith must be louder than your fear. Your praise must be louder than your confusion. Your trust must be stronger than your questions. You might not understand the why, but you must hold on to the who. God is not confused. Heaven is not panicking. The contradiction is part of your curriculum. Even Jesus faced contradiction. He was the Son of God, but born in a stable, the Messiah, but raised in a town no one respected. He came to save the world, but was rejected by his own people. He healed the sick and raised the dead, but was crucified between criminals. To the natural eye, it looked like failure, but through every contradiction, God was fulfilling prophecy. The cross didn't cancel his kingship, it proved it. So if you feel surrounded by contradiction right now, don't panic. You are in good company. You are walking the path of Joseph, David, Moses, and even Jesus. The contradiction doesn't mean you missed it, it means you're in it. And if you don't quit, if you don't abandon the process, if you don't let go of the word, there's a resurrection coming. There's a palace ahead. There's a Red Sea waiting to split. The contradiction is not your enemy, it's your teacher. And if you pass the test, the glory on the other side will be greater than anything you imagined. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Keep speaking. Your surroundings may contradict the promise, but your obedience will bring the manifestation. And the last is, the symbol pressure increases before breakthrough. One of the most overlooked truths in the kingdom is that pressure is not always an attack. It is often a signal, a divine indicator that something is about to break open. When you feel like the weight is increasing, the warfare is intensifying, and the obstacles are multiplying, it may not be a sign that you're losing. It might actually mean that you're closer to your breakthrough than ever before. In the spirit realm, pressure always precedes birthing. No baby enters the world without the mother first enduring labor. No diamond is formed without enduring the crushing. No oil flows from the olive unless it's pressed. And no spiritual breakthrough comes without the soul first passing through a place of pressing. We must understand that pressure has purpose. It is not random. It is not accidental. It is not merely the result of a bad decision or a coincidence. When you are walking in alignment with God's will and still find yourself under unusual weight, something sacred is being produced in you. Heaven does not assign pressure without intending to release something on the other side of it. But most people retreat under pressure because they misinterpret what it means. They assume it's punishment. They assume it's the enemy. They assume it's a dead end. But in reality, pressure is the proving ground of faith. The greater the pressure, the greater the potential locked inside of you. You never really know what's in you until life starts squeezing. It's easy to praise when the path is smooth, when the doors are open, and when everything is flowing. But what happens when you feel surrounded, overwhelmed, and out of options? Can you still trust when it hurts? Can you still praise when you're pressed? Can you still walk forward when it feels like the ground beneath you is shaking? Many people ask God to take them to the next level, to elevate them, to use them in greater dimensions. But they don't understand what they're asking. Because every new level brings new weight. With greater assignments come greater tests. You cannot ascend in the spirit without enduring pressure in the natural. Before God brings expansion, He allows compression. Before promotion, there is crushing. Before the crown, there is a cross. Jesus experienced this firsthand. On the night before His crucifixion, He entered a place called Gethsemane. That word literally means olive press. It was there, in that garden, where the pressure became almost unbearable. The weight of His assignment began pressing down so hard that the Bible says His sweat turned into drops of blood. That is a medical condition called hematidrosis, caused by extreme stress, but it was not a sign that He was failing. It was a sign that the oil was being released. The anointing that would redeem mankind was coming forth, not in comfort, but in crushing. When you feel the pressure rising in your life, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, it is not time to give up. It is time to dig deeper. The enemy doesn't waste resources on people who are empty. He increases pressure on people who are pregnant with destiny. When hell turns up the heat, it's often because heaven is about to open. The closer you get to what God promised, the more the atmosphere resists, not because you're off track, but because you're on the verge. Look at the children of Israel. When Moses appeared to deliver them from Egypt, the pressure didn't decrease, it intensified. Pharaoh got harsher. Their workload increased. Their pain multiplied. They cried out, "Why is this happening?" But God had already declared, "I've come down to deliver you." The increase in pressure was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of the exodus. That moment of unbearable tension was the final contraction before freedom was born. And so it is with you. That job that's suddenly unbearable, that relationship that's being tested, that financial burden that came out of nowhere, it might not be a sign of delay. It could be the contraction before the release. When a woman is about to give birth, the contractions intensify right before delivery. The closer she gets to the child coming forth, the stronger and closer together the pains become. Not to harm her, but to help the baby enter the world. The pressure is not punishment, it's preparation. There are breakthroughs that only come when you refuse to break under pressure. There are levels of anointing that are only accessed when you keep walking through the weight. When Daniel was thrown into the lion's den, it wasn't because he had done something wrong. It was because he refused to bow. The pressure around him increased. Lions roared. His enemies celebrated. But what looked like a trap was actually a setup. The pressure didn't destroy him. It revealed the God who could shut the mouths of lions. We often think breakthrough means escape, but sometimes it means endurance. Sometimes God won't pull you out of the pressure. He'll preserve you in it. Not so you suffer, but so that the people watching you see what grace under fire really looks like. So that when you come out on the other side, you don't just have a testimony, you become a signpost of God's faithfulness. Think of Job. He lost everything, his wealth, his children, his health, pressure from every direction. His friends misunderstood him. His wife told him to curse God and die, but Job didn't quit. He wrestled with questions. He battled confusion, but he held on. And in the end, the Bible says God restored to him double what he lost. The pressure didn't disqualify him, it qualified him. And what God gave him on the other side was more than he could imagine. Sometimes the pressure is also a refining fire. It burns away things that cannot go with you to the next dimension. It removes fear, pride, insecurity, doubt. It forces you to cling to the only thing that cannot be shaken, your faith. When everything around you feels unstable and all you can do is trust, that is where real power is forged. Not in the spotlight, but in the furnace. Pressure also reveals the foundation you're standing on. Anyone can say they trust God when things are good, but it's pressure that proves whether your faith is built on rock or sand. If you can praise under pressure, serve under pressure, love under pressure, then your faith is not just talk, it's substance. And that kind of faith moves mountains. Remember this, when it feels like the pressure is at its peak, the breakthrough is the closest. Don't misread the moment. Don't confuse pressure for punishment. Don't abort the process. Hold on. Keep praying. Keep pressing. Because what you carry is too valuable to be lost now. You didn't come this far to turn around. The very thing you've been waiting for may be on the other side of the very pressure you're walking through right now. God has not left you. He has not forgotten you. He's watching how you respond in the fire. He's measuring your endurance. He's preparing the blessing. He's setting the stage. And when He releases it, it won't be a small thing. It won't be average. It will be the kind of breakthrough that makes sense of every tear, every test, every long night, and every heavy burden. You will not remember the pain. You will remember the power. And the pressure you felt will be proof that God was with you the whole time. Listen, tests are not meant to destroy you. They are meant to reveal the depth of your faith and position you for greater. So, if you're being tested today, rejoice. It means heaven is watching. It means you've been considered worthy of growth. It means promotion is near. Don't quit the process. Don't fight the silence. Don't ignore the signs. Because when God tests you, it's only to trust you with more.